Hello, my name is Jed, and I love the Devil May Cry franchise. It's one of my favorite video game series of all time, and so when I heard it was getting a new anime, I was pretty intrigued. Now it's out, and after watching it, I want to borrow a bit of your time and tell you what I feel about this show. The Netflix DMC anime is about Dante being hunted down by both the American government and an army of demons for his amulet, as his amulet is half of the key to the door to the demon world, which is sealed off by Sparta. That's it, and it's ass and the video. Okay, let me actually explain why I feel that way. Starting with the greatest offender of all issues in the show, the characters. Because outside of fucking Enzo, everyone else is wildly out of character, and I'm mostly referring to Dante and Lady. Dante makes a lot of jokes in the main series, but seeing as how this is most similar to DMC3, Dante has that was the biggest inspiration for this. While he does still make jokes and screw around, he's not going around saying shit like,
"What are they gonna do? Form half a Captain Planet? Bang! Man, Skeletor did not hold up since the 80s. Remind me again, which of you is the Human Torch knockoff and which is the talking leaf blower? I don't feel bad. I heal extremely fast. Like a superhero. Not that I call myself a superhero, but your mom does."
He's not going around making heavily forced pre-2000s pop culture references every chance he gets. As a massive nerd, I do appreciate nerd references, but that enjoyment is muddied when they feel forced and cringy. That doesn't say all the references are bad. There's a reference to Street Fighter, another Capcom property which actually feels pretty natural, using the comedic way to F5, or reference to Raccoon City from Resident Evil, which was especially heavy, especially because Devil May Cry, the franchise, spawned from what was originally going to be Resident Evil 4. These references also just feel natural as they flow into what was happening, whether it be Enzo and Dante's conversation or Dante's fight with those fucking orcs. The rest of them suck. They feel so out of place and heavy-handed, not to mention his fighting prowess is highly inconsistent, something I noticed when rewatching this show for this video. You mean to tell me the man who can dodge multiple bullets being shot at him once and can even show up right beside the very people shooting at him before they can even notice him, somehow isn't able to be fast enough to grab his amulet as it swings right past his head? You mean to tell you honestly want me to believe that the man who can do this at the same time struggling against one woman? This is the man who can single-handedly take down a goddamn army. We saw him do it right before she showed up. Yet one normal woman is not only able to outgame him when he's taking their fight somewhat seriously, but she can also outrun him? I call bullshit of the highest caliber. Need I remind you of this? Care that she grenade in his face. I refuse to believe she would be able to actually get away, get to the truck, and hide somewhere adequate, all in a very short time period before Dante could recuperate and catch her. That's the important, by the way, before Dante can recover and catch her. Because mind you, her jet boots were busted. If her jet boots weren't busted, sure, I could fucking believe it, but they're busted. Dante has shown to be able to recover very quickly, even with massive holes in his chest. A tiny explosion couldn't take too long to recover from. At most, I could honestly believe she's able to get into the truck. I refuse to believe she's going to be able to adequately hide from him. Again, keyword being adequately. I call full tier bull. This is just something that needs to happen for the story to happen so we can keep it moving, even if it means making Dante into CW Flash in terms of consistency. Other than that, I don't have too many issues with Dante. They're a bit inconsistent with his speed and strength here and there, and he's an overly corny pop and coin for a shitty joke dispenser, but that's about where my issues with Dante end. Then there's the lady. And boy, is there a lot for me to say about this bitch. And frankly, bitch is a very adequate word here, because the anime's versions of Lady is a bitch. A vulgar, bitter, hard-headed bitch who, unlike her namesake, not only feels like she's trying too hard to be cool, but fails to do so but someone who curses more than I do.
They're really fucking hard to kill. Cow shit, motherfucker. Shithole. Shithole. Demon shit. This is evil as fuck. Kind of the least he could fucking do. Am I fucking it? The fuck, motherfucker.
Editor's note real quick. Hi, hello. This is Editing Jet. This is all from her debut episode, by the way. All the clips that I just showed you are from episode 2, the first episode she appears in. She curses a significant amount more in the actual rest of the show. I'm just not gonna go and dig through the rest of the show because I've got things to do. I've got a goddamn life. I cannot be asked to sit here and dig through every single episode of the show just for instances where she cursed. I can't be asked to do that. I don't care. Just know she does it a lot more. Anyways, back to video me. Goodbye. The amount of swearing she does actually throws me off. And again, I'm a very vulgar person. I've cursed a lot in this video prior to this point. So if I'm getting thrown off by it, it's a problem. It is a very big problem. Like, Game Lady really doesn't curse all too lot. She doesn't. She's very snarky and sassy. She's also hard-headed in DMC 3, but it played out in a way where you can take her seriously. In the anime, it feels like she's trying too hard. She also suffers a lot from many of the changes made to her character, especially in her backstory. Much like her game counterpart, she has an immense hatred for demons. However, unlike her game counterpart, her hatred from demons feels somewhat forced and heavy-handed. In the game, her father Arkham is obsessed with demons and abandons her, as well as killing her mother and many innocent people as well. It's also implied that he killed her, whether it be by experimentation on her, or he just straight up murdered her. It's unclear, but at the end of the point is still the same. Her death was a direct cause of his actions. He did it with his own 2 hands. He works so well as an antagonist in Lady's story because he's just a human who abandons his humanity in pursuit of demonic knowledge and power. Whereas in the show, he's also a man obsessed with demons, but is also a good father. And after experimenting on himself due to his family getting attacked by a demon, ends up becoming one himself and attacks his wife, killing her before dying in a fire after he tries to attack the Lady. Firstly, Arkham is not a good father. It's implied Arkham was a terrible father even if he was present in her life in the games, but on top of that, again, her mother's death was directly by his hand. Her death was him completely abandoning his humanity, and Lady hates him for everything he did. But she still cries for him when she believes he dies, as he is her father. And part of her still does hold love for him in her heart. Whereas in the show, Arkham is portrayed as a good father until they get attacked by a demon in the subway. The police didn't believe him, so he became obsessed with his research in order to get power, neglecting his daughter and wife in the process, and in the end, as a result of his experimentation, ended up turning himself into a demon. In a moment of insanity, he attacked his wife and killed her for going to the same to Lady, but a bunch of chemicals on a table fell over, causing the place to go up in flames, killing him. That one simple change of making Arkham a good father really does destroy what made Arkham work so well as an antagonist in Lady's story. As well as making him a demon destroys the entire point of what makes their dynamic work, as well as Arkham as a story figure. He's just a human who abandoned his humanity in search of power and knowledge. Whereas in this, the change of making him a good father who turns into a demon makes it feel like they're just trying to force a reason for Lady to hate the demons the way that she does in the games. But the simple changes damage what made her relationship with her father, as well as her relationship with the demons, especially Dante, so impactful. And then, after everything that happens to her throughout the story, she still chooses to betray Dante and put him on ice, even after hearing Baines literally call her team of Captain Commando rejects and expendable vessels to her face.
This isn't about your team. They served the purpose God intended. Our fight is for humanity's souls. Every vessel is expendable.
And I'll talk about that asshole in a bit. Trust me, I will. But first I want to talk about the White Rabbit. The White Rabbit is a character from the DMC manga and novels from the DMC books. He's just a demon who hates Sparta as too many demons, and knowing Dante is the son of Sparta, hates Dante by extension. Classic sins of father show, man. He works far better in the books than he does in the show for one reason and one reason only. In the book, he's just a demon. His hatred for Sparta, and by extension Dante, makes sense because he's evil, and he hates Sparta for shielding off the human world from the evil of the demon world, and by extension Dante because he's Sparta's son. Again, classic sins of the father trope, you know? However, even with that, his true end goal is simply to see how the two sons of Sparta clash with one another. He's willing to put his hatred of Sparta to the side because he wants to see how different the heroic demon sons are and how they clash. In the show, the White Rabbit is not a demon, but instead a human who stumbled into the demon world, ended up befriending the demons, even finding a family of sorts among them. However, they all end up dead due to Darkham's actions, and he himself is badly injured, but he survives, and the simple change of making him human destroys everything that made him work as a villain. Why? It's simple. He still hates Sparta, plus he blames Sparta for the lesser demon's suffering since he put up with a wall between the two worlds. However, him separating the human and demon world didn't cause the lesser demon's suffering, so his hatred for Sparta and Dante makes no fucking sense. That world only became bad for the weaker demons because the stronger demons decided to feed on the weaker ones. It's not his fault that happened. The stronger demons chose to do what they did of their own accord. Even when the world was still combined, Mundus was a tyrannical asshole. He still is. The stronger demons were still evil as they were before. Eventually, they would turn on the weaker demons too. It's just a basic understanding of nature. The only thing Sparta changed is the timing. And then they tried to play the whole hypocrisy angle by having Lady call him out by experimenting on the weaker demons, but that all falls apart when he reveals that he's a human, because Lady doesn't retort anything he says to retort his point, and just goes straight into ranting about how bad humans are. He does not work as a villain at all. And the starting domino for why is because they made him human and tried to make him a tragic villain, the exact opposite end of what they did with Arkham, while having the exact same effect. Quick little side thing, by the way, personally, can we just please let evil be villains just be evil for the sake of being evil? Not every villain needs a tragic backstory. Mundus in DMC1 is just evil and he works. Frieza and Majin Buu, two of the greatest villains of all time, are just evil and they work amazingly. Again, Buu is literally just the embodiment of evil. Getsis is just an evil bastard and he works amazingly. Giovanni, Ganondorf, Zork Necrophage, Yuki Terumi, Vamdemon from Digimon, Manfred von Karma, Johannes von Shixel, Grima, Evolta, Nyarlathotep. Need I keep going or have I made my point? Many great villains are often just evil. So why do we keep trying to give villains these tragic backstories? I'll tell you why. Because it's easy. It's much easier to give a villain a tragic backstory to make them seem sympathetic and oftentimes justify whatever the hell they do. It's a lot harder and a lot more work to make a villain who's just evil for the sake of being evil work, so they take the easy way out. Make up some sad backstory, make it an absolute tearjerker, give them some form of trauma, and boom, 10 out of 10 villain. They can do all the evil shit they want now. Oh, and this plan is just dumb, by the way. Bring down Sparta as well and recombine with human and demon worlds so the lesser demons can escape. Cool. Problem, you still gotta deal with the stronger demons, especially Mundus, so even if you do break down the wall just to let the weaker demons out, the stronger demons will still attack them, and now the humans. And guess what? You won't be able to do shit about them. What was Sparta's plan to stop them? Lock them up because he knew he was gonna be able to beat them all head on. What the hell are you gonna do once the bigger demons start rampaging and killing everyone and everything? Your ass won't be strong enough to stop them. You won't have the power to put the wall up the way Sparta did.
Your ass is stuck.
You, my friend, are up shit's creek without a paddle, and everything you do will end up pointless. You dumb ass. God, he sucks. Then we move on to Vice President Baines. Vice President William Baines. I genuinely don't know what else to say about this bastard other than he is the most try-hard motherfucker in this show. They try so hard to play him out as a villain to the point where I cannot take him seriously. He is not a villain. This man is a fucking joke. Like, I don't even know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. That's all I really can think of to say about Baines, because they try so hard to paint him as a true blue villain for wanting to kill all the demons, but it's like, he literally is the one in charge of a task force designed for hunting and killing demons. Do you, honest to God, expect him to have a heart for the demons who are suffering? Hey, hi, Editing Jet here. Quick little thing I forgot to add, right? Another reason why I can't take Baines seriously as a villain is because they try to paint him as the villain using the demons. You know, the ones who committed multiple acts of terror. killed countless people. I don't give a fuck. Oh, but this weaker demons, these didn't do anything. I don't give a fuck about them. I don't give a fuck about these nobodies. You think I care about them? No, I don't give a fuck. I don't damn sure don't. Oh, but the big demons, they care about them. So I don't give a fuck about them. I want them dead. I want to see them dead, and I don't care about the small demons that nobody gives a fuck about. You want me to give a fuck about them when they're all a bunch of nobodies who just exist? They just exist. Most of them don't even have a presence in the show outside of the 3 that help Lady. That's it. Those are the only ones that I have any sort of care towards, and I don't really give a fuck about them either. You really honestly cannot expect me to care when you don't make them into characters. They're just there. They really are just there. I don't give a fuck about the weaker demons. I don't give a fuck that the big demons care. Cause fuck the big demons. They're evil. They deserve death. I don't care. You can't honestly expect me to take him as a villain combined with everything that I already just said. I completely forgot to mention this, and it just came to me while I was working on this video that I probably should. It's the same thing the fucking MCU did with Falcon the Winter Soldier. Like, I don't care about these fuckers, so why should I care about this asshole? Fuck the demons. I don't care for the weaker demons because they're nobodies. They're non-existent characters. They're not even characters. They're not even characters. They're just bodies. That's really all they are. They're just fucking bodies. I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. They can die for all I care. I don't care one way or the other whether they live or die. Does that make me evil? Maybe. I don't care. Oh, but Lady One dealt demons. She's the leader of the specific team. She literally pointed her gun at them and said the only reason she's letting them live and is willing to help them in the first place is because they helped her first. She owes them her life. She's repaying her debts. If she didn't owe them a debt, she wouldn't have helped them either. I'm not trying to justify what he does, but you cannot honestly expect me to feel like he's a true blue bad guy in this story, especially when not only does he not know about the situation of Makai, but there's this other thing that they play this huge back and forth game about where he's also fucking insane. Something they, again, like I said, play this weird back and forth game about when the easy fix to really all of it is to just make him insane. If you're gonna put your foot on the pedal, you fucking floor it. You hack-ass bastard Adi Shankar. Do not half-ass it, you punk-ass. You wanna play the insane religious man angle? That's fine. Make that man into Alexander Anderson. You go all the fuck in, dude. Oh, but they're using it to set up the political subtle messaging of the show for the policies.
The radical left is already using this to push their agenda that America should...
Great. You owe me a TV, mate.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I fucking hate politics. I avoid it like the plague. It turns people into feral freaks, so I never talk about it. And when I go into a series called Devil May Cry, I don't go in expecting some political message of any kind. I come to Devil May Cry expecting action, style, gothic rock, a story about demon hunting and the strength of humanity. Now, this isn't me saying you can't have political messaging in your story. One of my favorite franchises of all time, Mobile Suit Gundam, has very political themes and messages in it involved in every single one of its shows, from political notifications involved in war, child soldiers, how war impacts civilians, and so on and so forth and so much more, all the way from the original Gundam to Gundam Witch, each with varying degrees of success. But it all works because it's the driving cause for everything that's happening, but it never feels out of place and heavy-handed, each of them having the same core message. War is pain, war is bad, but hope in humanity can always overcome to a brighter tomorrow. Gets the message across just fine on all ends with little to no issues. Again, I'm not saying you can't have political messaging in a show or movie. What I am saying is that when you try to make it so heavy-handed and incorporate it into an adaptation of a franchise that doesn't have any form of political basis, it ends up feeling forced in a way that is jarring and weird, and I hate it. And I wish that not just this show, but a lot of people up at the top, like Hollywood and whatever, would stop doing it because it doesn't work. It ends up creating an overall worse product for it. Then there's Vergil. And I only have one thing to say about him. Netflix. What the fuck did y'all do to this man? Why is he working with Mundus willingly? That goes against the entire character of Vergil and Nello Angelo. I'm not even joking when I say this. This was a horrid decision that ruined this version of the character. And the only way out of this hole is to have Vergil be brainwashed like he is in the game. However, instead of Nello Angelo being a prison to keep Vergil subservient to Mundus, is to allow Vergil to survive in the poisonous air of Makai. That is legit the only way out of this hole that they have dug themselves that does not either find them in another hole or cause more damage. I know I spent this entire video bitching, but the show isn't all bad. I also like the music, kind of. Let me explain. As a rocker and metalhead, I love a lot of the bands that they chose for this show. Rage Against the Machine, Limp Bizkit, Papa Roach, and go on. And I like a lot of these songs like Rollin', Guerrilla Radio, and American Idiot, but these songs do not fit DMC. And that irks me, but I can't help but rock the hell out when these songs come on, just because of how much I love these songs. I get why they were chosen to elicit that same feeling of the time period when these games were made. These games are very early 2000s, with the whole vibe they want to go with, but they really do just don't fit. I do like the non-licensed songs though, they're fine, solid renditions of other songs. Not a huge fan of some of the remixes, like the remix of Devil Trigger, the remix of Last Resort, but overall, I thought the music was solid. I like the designs of the more important demons, like Nello Angelo, Cavalier, even the White Rabbit, as much as I hate him as a character, has a really good design. I also really like the animation of the show. It's very fluid, it's very punchy, and it looks very good. It's also really good at great action sequences. It captures the actions of the games very well. I'm also very surprised at how much I like the voice performances of this show, especially JYB as Dante. It does feel like he was a little typecast because not only does he voice another Devil May Cry Devil Hunter, but also a red-coated gunslinger. But he gets the job done very well. Also, the late great Kevin Conroy as Baines was great. Love that performance. All that being said, I can't think of anything else to say, but I want to make one thing clear if I haven't already. I'm not asking for a one-to-one adaptation of the game. A game like Devil May Cry, especially 3, isn't one you could adapt one-to-one as a very interesting show. You have to make changes. That's just the nature of adaptations. What works in a book might not work in a comic. What works in a comic might not work in a novel. What works in a novel might not work in a TV show. What works in a TV show might not work in a movie. What works in a movie might not work in a game. So on, so forth. I keep going, but you get the point. You have to make changes. What I am asking for is when adapting a show to keep core tenets of the franchise true to what it is in the source material, especially if you're adapting something like Devil May Cry, something this show fails miserably at. Do you want to know the worst part though? Want to know the worst part of it all? Adi Shankar has done the exact thing that I'm asking with the first 3 seasons of Castlevania. He tweaked the characters a little to fit that version of the show, but kept the characters true to who they were and kept the story of Castlevania true to the story of Castlevania 3. For all its changes and issues, it does truly feel like an adaptation of Castlevania 3 and its subsequent tie-in material. If he can do it there, I don't know why he can't do it here. Ugh. Honestly, this show is riddled with issues from top to bottom. The show was decent in the first 3 episodes, but the second half was really when the problems began to pile on and it never recovered. This is a terrible show. It's a terrible adaptation of the Devil May Cry franchise, and I hate it. The best thing I can say about this show is that it's better than Castlevania Nocturne, but that bar is not very high, it is in hell. It is not a high bar. I'm not joking when I say this. I would have rather spent my time playing the damn reboot. Because at least the reboot with that shit, I can sit there for a few minutes and enjoy the good gameplay until I get bored and go play a better game. I can't really do that with this show. Sadly, for me, this show is getting a season 2. But for anyone who liked this show, that's probably great news. And if you did like this show, that's great. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you enjoy it. I don't though. And I hope Adi learns from his mistakes in this season and improves in the future. But we'll have to wait and see. With all that said, I'm gonna waste your time. Maybe I'll go through and cover the DMC game series now that this anime has dropped, but who knows? What I do know is that if you did enjoy this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And if you didn't, you can tell me how much I suck. It's about the YouTuber and the Vtuber in the comment section down below. Peace out and enjoy yourself, everybody.